Sass, who are you rolling with?
I'm rolling with the Wizards. I think that they figured out a formula to knock off the Boston Celtics. Remember, I picked them to win this series in 6 games, and I'm going to go down with the ship. Same thing with Houston. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But until I'm wrong, damn it, I'm right. And here's the situation. I look at John Wall. I look at Bradley Beal. I look at the way that they're playing. More importantly, I look at the way collectively they're defending against Isaiah Thomas. He had, what was it, like 33 shots or 43 shots in Game 2 when he dropped 53. But the next 2 games combined, he had like 22 shots. Okay, they've neutralized him because they've got the ball out of his hands. He's not shooting as much as he once was because they're trapping him, they're doubling him, they're tripling him. They're doing whatever's necessary to get the ball out of his hands and force someone else to beat them. And more importantly, the reason they're successful doing it is because they're attacking him on defense. He has to defend an Otto Porter. He has to defend a John Wall or a Bradley Beal. And because of those things, that's why you don't see him the same Isaiah Thomas, because these are the playoffs and they're forcing somebody else on Boston to step up and beat them. I think that's the formula to success, and that's why I think the Wizards are going to win tonight and then Game 6 on Friday.
You're right about that. That's good analysis, but I think that it misses other analysis that's going to wind up trumping that at Boston in Game 6. In Game 5, sorry. Not only would I take Brad Stevens over Scotty Brooks in terms of adjustments, if you're talking about matching wits as coaches, but the Celtics are a deeper team. Now, you brought up when you were defending James Harden earlier that the rotation got very short in Houston. And that's primarily because Houston is not as deep as San Antonio. And so Houston was missing shots last night, and this is instructive, I think, for the Washington Celtics series on a predictive going forward basis. Houston was missing shots short. They had tired legs because of the fatigue that you brought up earlier in the show, Stephen A. And I think that's going to happen to Washington. But bigger than all that, bigger than I like Stevens over Scotty Brooks in terms of adjustments, that the Celtics are at home, and what I just mentioned in terms of depth of team and fatigue. I like Isaiah Thomas at home. I think Isaiah Thomas has something in him that defies strategy and tactics and adjustments and the fact that he has to work on the defensive end and everything else. I think in a close game, which I believe this will be, in the 4th quarter, Isaiah has something in him that is just different, and he will not let his team lose at home. So what your analysis is very good, and I think the analysis that I offered, those things can cancel out. It's going to be a close competitive game, I believe. And I will put, as great as John Wall is, and if it was at Washington, I'd feel differently. But at home, Isaiah got something special in him. I think it comes out in the 4th quarter, maybe overtime, and the Celtics win a tough one at home.
Listen, you can feel that way all you want to because that's you relying on Isaiah Thomas. I'm looking at Avery Bradley. I'm looking at Crowder. I'm looking at Olynyk. I'm looking at Al Horford, who, by the way, can hit some threes. And he has surprised me with how good his three-point shot has become in Boston. Al Horford can definitely be a factor in this game. And a guy like Gortat and others, they need to watch themselves, and Jason Smith to a lesser degree. But I'm looking at the bodies. It's not just your starting 5, but then you've got a Smith coming off your bench. You've got Oubre coming back. You've got, Brandon Jennings coming off the bench as well. They go a legitimate 8 deep. And the fact that they're able to spell for a Bradley Beal, because you got Porter who can transition between the 2 and the 3 as well. The fact that you're able to spell for both Wall and Beal goes a long way. I think as long as Brooks monitors their minutes and makes sure they're not tired, because remember, they don't push the ball up the floor like Houston does. Washington doesn't mind playing half-court ball sometimes too. I think that's important.
Isaiah Thomas's presence forces Brad Stevens to go with defensive players at other positions. Either Marcus Smart starts hitting shots or it's going to be a problem for the Boston. I believe Marcus Smart will eventually, you say a broken clock, going to hit some shots.